The St. Louis Blues have found a winning formula to defeat Connor Hellebuyck and the Winnipeg Jets. The President's Trophy winners feel like they're on the ropes heading into Game 5. Let's break down the burning questions heading into the game for both of these teams and what needs to be done for both of them to find success in number 5. And finally, you'll get Coach Ryan D's opinion on whether or not he thinks Eric Comrie should be starting for the Winnipeg Jets in Game 5. But let's start with the success we have seen from the St. Louis Blues, and we can pencil in a little bit about what the Jets need to do in order to stop that success. But the Blues need to just keep following this formula, and the formula is getting to the net. They're bigger, they play a simpler game, their defensemen are more like Swiss Army knives than what you have in Winnipeg. And to me, it all starts with the Colton Parayko, Cam Fowler combination. Josh Morrissey may be arguably the best defenseman in the group of 12 that are out there, but the best pairing undoubtedly goes to Parayko and Fowler. Fowler has been such a dynamic addition for the Blues since coming over. He's refound his footing back to his glory days like when he was with the Ducks, and Colton Parayko is a perennial top 15 no-nonsense player. He's very good at hitting you. He's very good at speed. He's very good at a shot. He's got every trick in the book. He's kind of a throwback to those old school two-way defenders that aren't too heavily focused on offense, aren't under-focused on defense. They just do everything well. And we saw that in the Four Nations Cup when he was paired with Morrissey. Broberg and Falk add an awesome 1-2 punch to this top 4 pairing. Broberg is quite the puck-moving defenseman. I like the size of the big man since he came over from Edmonton, and Justin Falk brings that veteran presence and that calmness to the back end. And then finally, Nick Leddy. I'm not sure if Tyler Tucker's going to be available for the next game, but having Nick Leddy on your bottom pairing is a stabilizing force that, frankly, the Jets just don't have. I like the pairing of Morrissey and DeMello. Love Morrissey, but I think we've all seen it. Dylan DeMello is a great defenseman for Josh Morrissey, but he isn't an elite number 1 partner pairing. There are better partners and pairs out there, but he's one of the best options that Winnipeg has and has been a stabilizing force for the Jets in the background. The Jets are significantly better with DeMello than they are without him. Samberg, same thing, stabilizing force for Neil Pionk. Neil Pionk can get lost running around, but the intangibles he brings as an offensive defenseman and a little bit of a disturber really do go a long way in the playoffs, but he needs the stability of a Samberg. However, when you shake out that top 4, you got to give the edge to St. Louis. And I'll show you what I mean here. These defensemen have the ability to move the puck, but the second part of this equation is the Winnipeg Jets defensemen need to get these guys away from the front of the net, and it's all a timing game. It isn't just being big and strong. Take a look at this battle here from Luke Schenn. As that puck ends up out at the top here, we see it. It's a battle, it's a battle, it's a battle, and he's winning it. But the first question is, why is Winnipeg allowing players to stand unguarded, and why is Winnipeg not puck supporting here as well? This is a 5-on-3. Winnipeg needs to do a much better job at either supporting the pressure on the puck or covering the front of the net. You got to pick one. You can't not do both. And that's exactly what happened here. So Schenn is in a battle right now. You have a man open in front. This is screening Connor Hellebuyck, who we talked about likes to play down low, deep in his crease compared to other goalies. And this is what St. Louis is doing so well. They're just going to the front of the net and they win the battles. As we move that puck over here to the point, sure, it's a lucky bounce. But what's the first thing that happens? At the worst possible time, Schenn loses his battle. And this is done by design. St. Louis and forwards aren't stupid. They're going to stay engaged for as long as they need to, but as soon as there's a threat of a shot, they're going to do everything they can to shake that check, and that's exactly what happens. You can battle, and we used to do this all the time. You coach players to do this. As soon as that shot comes in, release. It isn't your job as a forward to get in a battle. It's your job to get to the front of the net. And by the time that happens, what do we have now? We have a few problems for Winnipeg that they're going to have to clean up. We have a high slot screen. We have a 2-on-1 down low. And there's no one clearing the front of the net at this point because the Winnipeg defender had to come up to the top here in order to engage in the puck battle and got lost and couldn't cover the front of the net because the man who should have been supporting the puck was not there. That, coupled with the fact that St. Louis has blistering shots, an excellent defenseman from the back, sees that puck go in the back of the net. And this isn't exclusive to just pucks that are controlled in the D zone. This is on the rush as well, too. Kyle Connor, super dynamic in the first two series. Well, what are you doing? You're not skating back at this point. You can see it on the highlight reel. And Connor had a real problem with this for the first few years, all the way up to last year in his career. But his commitment to team defense and skating back hard has been notably improved, except in the last two games. And this isn't just a Connor problem. This is a Winnipeg problem. Move your feet, get back down the middle. Don't just glide into the middle and pick up a man. Because right now, you're that famous post turtle I talk about. You're doing nothing. As that puck ends up driving towards the net, he's still gliding in there. Winnipeg is in a singular battle. It is a 1-on-3. Kyle Connor is completely useless. And then we see the signs of all kind of trouble. You're reaching in. As soon as you're reaching in, butt out, and you're not taking those few extra strides, you're caught. It's lazy. It's no good. They put it in and he's sitting there going, boy, I wonder what happened. And if you don't know what a post turtle is on this channel, it's very simple. It's a turtle on a post. It can't get itself on the post. It doesn't know how it got on the post, and it can't get itself off the post. It's completely useless. That's why you do not want to be a post turtle. But you also have to give full credit to the St. Louis Blues there. Their ability to have a hard driving presence to the net is what is going to take them to the promised land in this series. Doesn't matter how good a goalie is if you're going to get 2, 3, 4 bodies in front of that goalie and you're going to feed booming point shots from the point, you are going to generate a lot of success in the playoffs. You don't even have to think about it. That's what makes it so good for St. Louis. This is just what you do as a hockey player. You go to the net, you get pucks on net, you look for garbage, you tuck it in, and you play physical. That's what St. Louis is doing. You're not overthinking a system. What is my next step? Oh my God, what am I going to do? You skate in straight lines, you skate north-south, you get yourself in some blue paint, and you find yourself a goal. Contrast that to here. Kyle Connor, he's in. How many times have we seen this play before by Winnipeg pay off in terms of pay dirt? You have nothing but space right now. Your one option at this point is skate really, really hard towards the net, take a shot and try to score, or bank it off the goalie's pad, a pop pad, pass off the pad, and hit your partner, Mark Scheifele, who's coming in over here. But Winnipeg has been obsessed for the season. They've gotten a lot of goals doing this by trying to make unbelievable plays. Well, it's not working. You come in, you hold up. Why? Why did you give up that speed? That doesn't make any sense to me. He's reaching. As soon as he's reaching, you know you got him. But instead, Connor is he's made the decision. He's going to turn and he's going to avoid the pressure. He makes that turn. He looks. Now that allows a back checker to come in and you've given up your numbers. Here's that back checker. You've gone from a 2-on-1 and actually a 1-on-0 to a 2-on-3 the other way. And that hard back checking by St. Louis pays off in a big way. Your job here is to move the puck back to Josh Morrissey. I don't understand why. Josh Morrissey doesn't have a great angle on the puck. I get what the play is. You're going to go here, you're going to go here, and you're going to go here. But sometimes when things aren't working for you, why are you getting cute? The score is 4-1. So you put it back. It's a terrible pass. And what ends up happening? The Blues are gone. That's it. See you later. Hard-nosed hockey wins hockey games, and the St. Louis Blues back check has been hard-nosed. That's how you cause turnovers from teams that want to get cute and want to get pretty. When the Jets are pretty, they are the best team in the league at doing that. This has been the #1 line in the NHL at getting pretty, but they're also missing their grit man in Gabe Vilardi. He comes back for 5. That may make a bit of a difference. But I tell you, if I'm Coach Scott Arniel, I'm tuning those guys up a little bit, and you got to get 81 going to the net. He can't be pro curling away and he can't be gliding back on defense. And it isn't just a Kyle Connor problem. It just happens to be the guy that we can highlight because he's a prominent player and it trickles down to the rest of the team. And how about this one here? Winnipeg comes into the zone. Josh Morrissey does a really great job at causing a turnover. He's played very well this series. First man hits. We call this the hit zone. You're separating man from puck. That's exactly what Morrissey does. You go in with what we call stick on puck and you wait for forward 1. Forward 1 becomes the support zone. That's in the square here. We need that support zone to pick up that puck and make a good play. It could be another defender in there. Sometimes it happens. And that, in this case, is what occurs. It's Dylan DeMello who moves the puck around the wall. And here's the unfortunate part. We talk about how smart DeMello is, and he is. He almost never makes this mistake. That's why he's on the top pairing. It's not because he's that good at hockey. It's because he has high hockey IQ. This was an absolutely terrible play. I don't know where he was going. Here's his two forwards. They've both come down low to regroup as well too. And this to me is a sign of a team that's panicked. You're sending everybody back. You're not holding position. You're just slapping pucks up the wall. Well, what ends up happening? St. Louis exploits, and St. Louis understands this because they are a team that's holding their position. They are a team that's holding it in the right spot. It's only 1-1. There should be no panic at this point in the second period, but you end up coughing a puck up back to that wall. And now what happens? Why are you retreating 3 back to the front of the net? Everybody is lost. And again, the simplicity and the beauty in St. Louis, they don't need to change this. You have 1 man on the puck, 2 men on the puck, a one-on-one battle. And guess who's ready to support? St. Louis. He can go either way. There's almost no puck support coming in here from Winnipeg. So regardless of who wins this battle, St. Louis is going to come out with the puck. They win the one-on-one battle. They don't need to go ahead and do that. And then what does Nick Leddy do? He's going to move it over to his partner. And now everybody's out of sorts. We talked about that gap on the last one. Bang, shot comes from the point. And there is nobody in front of the net to clear. There is zero clearance happening over here because everybody's too busy running around. And as we pointed out before, Tanev is way too low. So that's what we got to look for Game 5. St. Louis, do the exact same thing. Big bodies to the net, big bodies on the pucks. Hold your simple position, get the pucks to the point, throw pucks on net, and get big bodies in front. Simple hockey, north-south. Winnipeg has to start finding their structure, finding their systems in the D zone. But more importantly, they have to be hungrier in front of the net. They need to make smarter decisions and clear people away from Connor Hellebuyck, and the forwards need to come back to help. It has been Winnipeg's bread and butter to play 5-man team defense, and that requires everybody throwing life and limb into the right system at the right time. We talk about it in hockey all the time. You don't use this first. I know there's going to be people in the comments roasting me for it, but you'd be wrong. You use your feet first. First your feet move, then your head moves. You decide where you're going, because guess what? If you decide where you're going before your feet move, you're stuck. You're not moving, and you lose those precious seconds. It actually doesn't matter where you're going because it's a small rink that has 2 directions. Go the direction you need to go. Let your instincts take over, 1 or 2 quick strides, then pick up your head and find somebody. Feet, head, and then hands. If you get lucky enough to have the puck on your stick, that's when you start stick handling or look to make a play. So it's always feet, head, hands. It can happen like this, so it looks like they're ready to go. I know everybody wants to love the high hockey IQ players that can look and move with their feet at the same time. Not everybody can do that, even at the NHL level. So Winnipeg needs to get back to that simple structure of feet, head, hands. Because guess what? St. Louis is doing it. They're moving their feet every single way you're going. If you're watching this game as a Blues fan and you're going, whoa, Jets look like we're in quicksand and we're flying. Yes, because their feet are moving and they're moving with purpose. Finally, Connor Hellebuyck or Eric Comrie. Can you play Hellebuyck now? The narrative is starting to hold true, Connor. I'm sorry. You could be the best goalie and win the Vezina all you want, but if you don't win at the right time, does it even really matter? It's a fair question. Now, I don't think you can go to Eric Comrie, and there's 2 critical reasons for it. Number 1, Connor Hellebuyck is the best goalie on this team. He's not the best goalie in the playoffs by far. On average, he's the best goalie in the world, but that's irrelevant right now. He's still the best goalie on the team, so you've got to go with Hellebuyck. Number 2, pull your head out of your backside. He's got 7 years left on a deal at $8.5 million. This team is going to go as far as he goes, period. End of story. He's not getting traded. They're not going to move him. More pieces aren't coming in. The fantasy booking isn't a reality. There's real feelings, real people, real men. The Jets ain't moving him. He's locked. So why would you piss off your starting goalie who has 7 years left on your deal to maybe put in a backup that possibly won't win because the rest of the team isn't playing very well? I'm not saying Hellebuck's playing good, but the Jets at large aren't playing well, and St. Louis is outplaying the heck out of them. So you're going to bury and cause dissension and problems within that locker room and that organization to put in a guy that isn't as good as your starter, who isn't the heart and soul of your team, and be pissed off for the next 7 years, a la Marc-Andre Fleury with the Vegas Golden Knights, a la Marc-Andre Fleury with the Pittsburgh Penguins. It always comes back to Marc-Andre Fleury. He really got stabbed in the back too many times for a good goalie. How about Roberto Luongo in Vancouver? Corey Schneider in Vancouver? You can't bury your goalie. They go up, they go down, but when you lock yourself into a starter like Connor Hellebuyck as opposed to an elite tandem like maybe you'd see in, Boston last year when you had Swayman and Ullmark, you're stuck. You can't switch guys out. The precedent isn't set. You got to go with Hellebuyck. You're riding him all the way. He's got to fight those demons and find a way to get the Jets out of it. But the Jets also need to find a way to get him out of it, because goaltending is just as much about the team as it is about the goalie. Go look at the Leafs. Stolarz is a good goalie. He's got a great defensive unit in front of him, headed by Craig Berube, so he becomes an excellent goalie. He isn't actually that good. Leafs fans hate when I say it. He's good in the system. There's an amazing goalie in Connor Hellebuyck who is right now in a bad system because the team is playing poor. Step up, you'll see Hellebuyck step up. Blues fans, Jets fans, been fantastic having you both on this channel. I can't wait to see Game 5. Who do I think's going to win? Look, guys, my head says St. Louis. My heart says Winnipeg. I'm going to go with my heart on this one because I am biased, but please know if my heart isn't the correct pick, you can feel free to roast me because my head knew where to go, but I'm always going to go with the heart. Go Jets, go.